Hey folks, Ted here today with EXPED and the EXPED WinterLite series sleeping bags. At EXPED we pride ourselves on engineering products that are designed to take comfort anywhere. And in the case of the WinterLite sleeping bag, our whole objective there is to give you something warm and dry, take it to the most extreme environments, and have a good time. So before I get into the actual details of the WinterLite sleeping bag, let's go ahead and cover the sort of the foundational pieces that cover the entire EXPED technical sleeping bag range. And the first thing you should be aware of is that all of the fabrics that we use within the sleeping bag range are Ecotex 100 standard certified. The other thing you should be aware of is that all lining fabrics next to skin fabrics inside of our sleeping bags are entirely chemical free. No treatments, totally chemical free. So you can rest at ease at that point. The other thing you should be aware of is that all the down that we use is RDS certified. That means it's traceable to its source, to its origin, and it also certifies the fill power, and that applies specifically to each lot of down that is inside your sleeping bag. And you can go ahead and personally verify that by unzipping any of our bags, opening up to the zipper draft tube, and you can see the silk screen right here. There's a QR code that actually allows you to scan the individual lot of down that's in this sleeping bag. While we're at it, you can see the RDS certification, and you can also see the EN temperature rating, which is what we use on all of our technical sleeping bags. WinterLite comes in 3 different temperature ratings, basically a 3-season bag, a 4-season bag, and what we would call a 4-season extreme. So with a good mat underneath, you have got a bag that will take you all over the place. With that, let's talk about a few things that you actually can't see in here. The sleeping bag, the WinterLite sleeping bag, is insulated with 800 plus fill European goose down. So that's something you can't see, but you can obviously check it out with the QR code on the side so you know exactly what's going on. Really, really beautiful down on the inside, lofty, warm, comfortable. The other thing you can't see, but you will actually notice when you crawl into the bag, is that it has what we call a radical differential cut on the inside. That basically means that all of this curvature in this bag and this fabric you see on the outside is one dimension, but the inside, the orange side that you see here, is actually cut smaller. So outer shell, inside lining. That means that when I have a smaller inside lining, I have all the down on the outside lofted up and I'm not compressing. If I push an elbow or I push a knee out, I'm not compressing the down, and that again really enhances the warmth and the fill power of your sleeping bag. So those are the things you can't see. We'll talk about some of those details a little bit further, but let's get into things that you can see. And from your perspective, you can see the zipper runs all the way down to right about here. You'll notice that the zipper is almost hidden from your view. Now you can see it, now you don't. And that's because we wrap it down underneath. That's the best place to position it for maximal thermal efficiency. Hidden down behind the zipper and underneath is this really plush zipper draft tube that does an effective job of sealing the heat in and the cold out. Nicely protected all the way through there. And while we're talking about the zipper baffle, I'm going to open this back up. I want to talk about the collar on the inside. The other place that we've put in a nice seal is the draft collar. The draft collar is a big, fat, plush down collar that basically seals the heat in around your neck if you want to. There's a draw cord on the back side. If you don't want it, you can loosen it up and lay it down flat so you can ventilate a little bit. It's very adjustable, very easy to work with. And that goes ahead and seals the heat on the inside of the bag. Where your head is most of the time is inside the actual hood. The hood is what we call a comfort hood. It's cut big enough so that when it's open, I've got lots of ventilation, but when the weather gets really ugly and it's cold outside, you want to be able to snug it down. And carefully tucked away on the inside of the bag where it's easy to reach are 2 cords. The tabs are actually different shapes so you can actually feel them at night and know what's going on. One adjusts the hood perimeter around the top edge of the face, and the other one does the perimeter down at the bottom. And that allows you to take the hood from an open position, clear on down to right around your nose and mouth so you're pushing the moisture on the outside, but really seals the heat on the inside. The other thing that's nice to know about this comfort hood is that it's actually big enough to accommodate a pillow if you're carrying one. We recommend these. Snugs in really nicely. Again, with the collar, draft collar on the top, you've got a beautiful sleep situation going on, but that's how it's designed to work. Now let's move down to the foot section of the sleeping bag. From your perspective, you can see this has the radical differential cut running down this way over the box, or the foot box. And we call this the 3D multi-chamber foot box. And it's designed specifically to maximize the amount of loft that you get in the foot box area. Cold feet are a problem in anybody's world when it's nasty outside. So we go ahead and give you this shape. The reason the shape is done that way is so that when I have my toes sticking up, I'm not compressing the down on them. And it's pretty well demonstrated. If I take my hand and stick it through here, you can't see my fingers poking through the fabric. And that's because the interior is cut smaller than the outside. So I'm never compressing it down. As I push up, the down rises up with it rather than compressing it all the way through. So that's what you get out of the foot box. Again, designed to maximize your thermal efficiency when you're out in the field. The biggest concern in an extreme environment, of course, is keeping the down in your bag dry. The best way to protect your down insulation is to keep the moisture away from the down in the first place. This eliminates the need to add any water-resistant treatment or chemicals to your down. Keeps this stuff nice and fluffy. The WinterLite employs two methods to create this weather barrier and protect your down. The first is the tuck stitch that you see right here. Now, most bags actually use what we call a top stitch on the fabric. Now, and that works perfectly fine, except that if there's any moisture on the surface of this fabric, it tends to get wicked right to that seam and then into the interior of your bag right along the baffle. We use the tuck stitch baffle construction right here, and that means that we can go ahead and take this fabric, tuck it in, and hide away the seam. That means that any surface tension will allow the water droplet to run off. That's one method. The second thing that we do is we actually employ, chasing little down plumules, we actually employ a waterproof, water-resistant, breathable fabric. It's highly water-resistant, sheds snow, sheds rain, ice, and it's so breathable that it allows condensation to pass right through the face fabric. And using those two combinations, you actually get a product that is incredibly comfortable. Now let me go ahead and demonstrate this for just a second. I'm going to go ahead and dimple this fabric and show you just taking water, pouring a little bit of water right on here over the seams, and you can see that the water runs right past the seams and puddles up on the inside. And of course, if your tent mate just spilled his soup or his coffee on you, you're going to be really appreciative of the fact that you can go just take the whole thing, pick it up, and tip it off, and you're set to go. Wipe off the extra moisture, and you're good as gold. In this case, you're warm, your down is dry, and you are very comfortable and ready to go. So to wrap up on the WinterLite, don't forget it comes with a mesh storage bag so you can keep the bag nice and lofty when it's at home in the closet. But when you go out on the next trip, remember it also comes with a full dry bag that is fully taped and waterproof, so your bag is set to go. That said, on your next adventure that's wet, damp, drippy, underneath an open air tarp, inside of a snow cave, the WinterLite's the bag that's going to keep you dry and comfortable. See you out there.